now stuck with it. We ain't with the subbing in the cut with it. Please none of the talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lives, all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, ain't ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got...
Hello. Thank y'all for tuning in to TK's Chronicles of a Black Sheep podcast. I am the host, and today I have both co-hosts with me. DJ, looking like a fishing net. You didn't hear that right. Nope, that's good. And DA.
What it do? What it is? What it be like?
Oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do the last line. What it ain't.
Nah, it's what it is. It ain't what it ain't. Not today.
Okay.
I think I got it. Am I better now?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It was my internet is acting up for some reason.
You didn't pay your bill today?
Not today, no. Last week. Last week. Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
Oh man! If you have not, please like, share, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Plus, you will know when we come out and get that nice little notification.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes. So, how was the week? Adams, how was the week? I almost didn't want to ask because kind of already know, but yeah, how was y'all's week?
Interesting, to say the least. Interesting.
Yeah. It's my week has been a roller coaster. You know, it's had its highs and its lows, but nonetheless, I am very optimistic about the highs and the lows. They're behind me, so you know.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny though. Now I'm thinking about it. It was meant to happen. What happened this week? Because the week before that, I was I had tuned into a church service, just a random church service in the area. And the message was, it's time to go.
Oh.
And I was like, Then everything, like, it's like everything in my spirit was like unsettled. Like, yeah, it's time for you to go home, boy. So everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. Cause and it was wild because he was talking about the I can't even talk. Well, the story of, I want to say, the Israelites or something. They were going into this town. I know I'm about to mess the whole thing up, the whole sermon up, so I ain't even gonna start. Anyway, folks went in to try to steal and rob, like at dusk, and then they got down there, did what they had to do, and they were like, "Hey, we should stay." And then one of them was like, "Nah, bro, it's time to go." And I was like, yeah, it is time to go. It is time to go.
That's funny. I think while you're saying that, I think me and DJ been seeing more a lot of Let It Go.
Yeah.
So they
what's going on, Hope? How you doing, Hope? Yeah, agreed. Before we move on, I want to pause for just a second. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And you see, we have on the white in memory of one of our greats, Mr. Frankie Beverly. Rest in peace, my brother. So yeah, the white is what it is. I've been rocking white all day, seeing a bunch of beautiful black people out in society with their white on. So, Mr. Frankie Beverly, you will be missed, sir.
And not just Frankie Beverly, because we lost 3 in that week. We lost Tito Jackson, and we lost James Earl in the same week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 grapes in 1 week.
They ain't gonna
Yeah.
be the same. I can't watch Lion King no more. It ain't even gonna look right.
I know, and the new one's supposed to come out in the next month or two.
The Mufasa, I think it's December, right?
It's soon.
November, sometime this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it's soon.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mufasa.
that's
Yeah. That is, I forgot
mhm,
about that. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah, Mufasa. Ooh, say it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
We gonna pray. we gonna really pray. All
Yeah.
right. So tonight's topic is rejection.
Mm.
Now, I know this is not a foreign word to people. It's probably not a very likable word that people like to hear. Um, and if you're around the elders typically say that rejection is a form of God's protection.
Mm,
So,
mm-hmm.
uh, yeah. So crazy thing was, as I was doing the research, I found these different types of rejection.
Before we move on, hold on, because I didn't buy into that then, and I'm not buying into that now. That rejection being a form of God's protection. Now I understand the aspect in which they were saying it. They were saying it in the aspect of being in a relationship, right?
Okay.
For the most part. However, it's much more broader than that. The rejection, that's just a small piece of feeling rejected. And the funny thing is, because that has been said so much, a lot of people. Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you had blacked out for a minute, but yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. So,
Rejection, and not even
go ahead.
realize that. Yeah, and not even realize that that's the emotion that they're attempting to process.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know the definition, rejection is dismissing or refusing of a proposal, idea, says, etc. Um, and it'll go deeper down in there. I don't even want to go to that one because that's going to be part of the 6. So, D, which one you want to start with?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
DJ? Oh, I didn't
DJ.
know if you.
DJ.
You know what? We're all pretty artsy on this here panel. Let's deal with artistic rejection, the
Okay.
artistic aspect, because
Yes.
we all write, like I play music, so on and so forth. We're all pretty creative in some aspects. So let's deal with the artistic rejection, feeling rejected in those creative spaces.
All right. So, creative
What do you think about
or
that?
artistic rejection involves the
Let
rejection
me
of
see.
one's creative work, such as a writer, an artist, or a performer facing criticism, not being published, or having their work dismissed.
That happens that happens all the time when it comes to like sorry, cause I think DJ stuff running off on mine because mine will start tripping, stuff was flickering and stuff. But I
Yeah.
think that happens all the time, and for me, I think that's a good thing because it shows how determined you are. It tests how determined you are.
Okay. Because I can definitely see that, because I think if you let it get to you, if somebody lets it get to them,
Can y'all hear me
9
now?
they're gonna throw in the towel and
All
not
right.
All right.
continue. So I think at times people do that also to, of course, to discourage you.
Right.
Um, and a piece of it can also be jealousy, because they don't want you to achieve. So they're like, let me go and try and throw these monkey wrenches and see if they're gonna quit.
I can see that.
I think I'm okay now. I apologize, y'all. I don't know what's going on with my internet.
All
It's
right, cool
all
business.
it's all good. It's man-made stuff, so
Yeah.
it's not perfect.
Definitely.
Ooh, excuse me.
So I missed whatever was said, but I know we was talking about the artistic rejection aspect. You know, a lot of times, like there's been times to where I may write something and based off of a person's lack of a reaction towards whatever I wrote or sung or played or whatever, been in theater or doing stage plays, I may feel that little sting of rejection for that moment, but then I have to talk myself out of it. You know, I have to understand that this particular whatever it is I'm doing may not be for everyone. So
I agree. And I think even in those spaces, and I'll use this podcast for one. When I started the podcast, the support was very minimal. And even as I go through the years, and we're on over 3 years, um, the support, I have faithful viewers and we get new ones as we go. But like the people that you expect to support you, family and some friends or whatever, that doesn't show up. So it's typically just that really, really, really small faithful few. Like DA has been here since day one, and DJ has came in. I think you came in by what,
yeah,
about a
about
year
halfway
now.
through.
Yeah.
Well, no, about 2 years now. Yeah,
Okay.
year and a half. So yeah.
So, and to answer Quincy's question, he said, "How many episodes have y'all done? Are we way over 100?" Yes, we are over 100. I think the last I counted, we was like 150 or something like that. And we've done a few episodes since then. We haven't hit that great 200 yet, but we are well on our way. And hey, Q, you are correct. 95% of support comes from strangers, and that is like seriously true. Like, for instance, what you gonna say?
Who?
Oh, I thought you was gonna say something. But like, for
Mm.
instance, I met Quincy through the podcast. I'm gonna call it a network of other podcasters. Eventually, of course, we ended up meeting each other. But I met him through there, as well as some may see when Sean comes on and comments. I met him through podcasting with other people. Never met him, but yet not only does he come be a guest on this podcast, I'm a co-host on his podcast. So it's crazy how that happens, but typically there is a group that will support each other with each other's podcasts. And some it's like a whole competition thing. Well, I ain't watching this show. I ain't watching. Okay, cool. Hey,
Okay, so it's funny that you brought that up, right? So let's deal
mhm.
with the social aspect of being of rejection, social rejection, like not being included in a certain circle, like say of podcasting or of you know, say if you got a group of friends and there's an outing and everyone's there except you, the social aspect of it and the fact that you was talking about the little podcasting network, have you ever felt excluded in that space?
I'll say yes. Um, to a point. I think more of in the beginning when you're trying to make connections and meet other people because you like the baby in the group and you around the sharks and the bigger fish and stuff that's been having more experience than you. And when you try to reach out and ask for advice or that kind of thing, and they give you that long version that don't answer none of your questions or
Yeah.
point you to a dark alley, those kind of situations. But as you go and you grow, you realize what it is. Usually, a lot of these podcasters don't want your show to be better than they show, so they're not open to giving you tools or information. And I've really had a really awesome source of people that have just like, hey, I got you. Look, I'll tell you what I know. If I know this, hey, I got you. So the people in that podcast circle, which like I said, Quincy is one of those people as well, have been very open and welcoming. And 9 out of 10, we don't fit in them other boxes because there's some of those boxes with the bougie people that want to have Dr. So and so and whatever else and seem more cult like. I don't fit in those spaces. I don't want to be in those spaces. So there's that place of where you don't fit in and where you do fit in. And 9 out of 10, you don't want to be over there in the first place.
So what about you, DA? You've been here since day one. Have you ever felt
Not man, really, not really. I wouldn't say it's like when it's the topic of rejection. Not really. I think a lot of the artistic rejection, if we're talking about
can
that,
you hear me, TK?
we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of it's like so listening to I think it's a difference between discouragement and rejection. When because I think a lot of the things that we have done on the podcast, a lot of people try to discourage what we were doing, trying to uh uh be like now trying to get us to fall into a category that we didn't want to go to. That's why I say it's not I wouldn't look at it as rejection. I look at it as discouragement. They're trying to get us to fit a mold and we're like, nah, we go in a different direction. Now as far as like trying to get some guests on there, yeah, like rejection, yeah. But it's part of the game though, because everybody's not gonna see your vision. Everybody's not gonna have the same vision or the same thought process as you. So you might say, hey, we might think that, hey, this guest will fit this subject, but when we approach them, they don't feel the same way. So you just got to learn to take it on the chin, like, all right, because 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening is once we do the subject after the fact, they'll come back and be like, oh, yeah, we need to link up and blah 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 blah, and then you're like, oh, now you see what we were trying to do. Now we good.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that
you
crap,
know me, I don't put no
I
punches now.
forgot about that. That crap happened a lot in the
Yeah,
beginning.
you know me, I ain't gonna pull no punches.
Yeah, we had that a lot happening in the beginning. Now
Hmm.
I can actually say we don't have that problem. I think I got one person recently that somebody suggested this person to me to come on the podcast. And just when I talked to her, I was like, I'm listening, but I'm like, nah, bruh. Yo, thong is so far up in your ass is playing with your intestines. You ain't gonna be able to
Hmm.
come over here, partner. I know just even from our personalities, it wasn't gonna blend well because she was very you just talking to her. Her nose was so high up in the air, and I was like, nah, we good. We are
But,
hard past that, and I
but
ain't never
you gonna have people like
nothing.
that.
Oh yeah, Most
You're gonna
definitely.
have folks like thinking that they're above reproach,
Yeah, most definitely.
and you're beneath them, and that's fine.
Yeah, it is. That just mean that hey, they're not a fit for here. So
Exactly.
like I think we all have great personalities and just the compliments that we get from the people that have been on the show, even just like last week. Like the guest that was on and she was just like, I thank y'all. Like I'm so comfortable. This has been great. I feel welcome and this. And next thing you know, she's posting and tagging us on Facebook how she came on the show and how comfortable she was, and we made her feel like family, everything like that. So we get way more reviews on that level than
Mm-hmm.
anything. And it could
Mm-hmm.
be versus whether people may have been doing podcasting for years or somebody just now getting to be a guest on the podcast, and we get those kind of reviews, and those make me feel good. Those are the things I definitely love to hear. And when people are ready to come back, they're like, "Hey, anytime you need me, bet I'm here." So I love to get the feedback like that, or hear from somebody else in the circle. Hey, such and such said this about your podcast, or hey, somebody referred me to your podcast, and I'm like, okay, that's what's up. So I do love to hear that, but I feel that in those spaces where we do get rejected, that those are the spaces that we ain't supposed to be in, and I'm okay with that.
I agree.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
It's all good.
Yeah, and I agree with everything I said on that social rejection aspect. You know what I'm saying? I can still hear it on my other device. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I am. I'm very cool with that.
But then I got a question because like if we talking about artistic rejection,
Yeah.
when that happens, do you consider the source?
Oh, always.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good question. Yeah. I do consider the source because I realize that there's a lot of people that do not have your best interest at heart, and also everybody don't want to see you succeed, so they intentionally want to discourage you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I ask that because like sometimes folks don't consider the source and they like they'll get discouraged, and I'm just like, bro, look at who's talking. Like, now if
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like somebody, if it was like Tyler Perry or something, then I'd be like, you might want to listen to him. But if it's like Tyler Eugene Perry, no,
Yeah.
no, bro.
Yeah. Right. And
But
I
look at
think
that. So this.
even in that space, you never know when somebody is jealous
Yep.
of you
Mm.
and the jealous of you stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that they don't have the nerve to do. So that creates a space of
Mm-hmm.
you got a hater, especially when the hater is hidden. So when
Ooh.
you really discover who the person is and that they've been sitting here jealous and hating on you and trying to sabotage you sitting in the cut, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, for real?
Mm. So let me ask you this question, right? So we deal with artistic rejection and social rejection, right? So let's flip it and have we ever been on the end to where now we're inflicting that rejection?
Mm.
Ooh.
Like, have you ever told somebody no for whatever reason? Like,
Yeah.
I've had people ask me about this particular podcast, and I'm like, that might not go so well.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. But you got,
yeah. Go
I
ahead.
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I pick it back up.
Because I think, and this is how I see it, and again, and this how I think it goes both ways. It's a brand, so you have to
Mm.
protect that brand. And it's not like when they reject you, like, nah, you some. Now, if they say you some trash or you ass, okay. But if like you're not the right fit, it's the
And
brand they're
that's what,
looking at.
and that was my next point. So,
Yeah.
what's the fine line between protecting your brand and you being an asshole, like, or
Yeah,
just throwing out that feeling of rejection.
yeah.
And honestly, has anyone ever done it on purpose?
I bet somebody has. I really think somebody
Right.
has. I mean, yeah.
Now
I,
I'll
I
say this. I'm going and I'm gonna tell on myself.
Hmm. Bring
And
it.
in case my big bro jumps on here. So as I stated, I'm a co-host on another podcast. I myself am not a fan at some of the artists that comes on that podcast. I don't like the music that I have to listen to before. I'm a music fiend. I can like pretty much any genre or whatever. But when I hear what I hear, I'm like, this trash. Like I wouldn't play this. If I'm asked, hey, can they come? That ain't that ain't gonna that ain't gonna work right there. And I've had to be honest with my big bro.
be like,
Tell
nope.
him yes, and I've had to tell him that when you gonna have some of these people on there, I'm gonna take a PTO day because
Okay, so we're gonna. I don't
I
want to
can
go
only
too far
smile
into it. I don't.
so far. I can only take. I can only do that
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
this.
Okay. Well. So y'all want to move on, or y'all want to stay here for a little bit longer?
We can move. It's up to y'all. Shit,
We can
I can talk about it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, um, I think one of the major ones, and I see a lot of people putting up boundaries and non-negotiables in this particular space. Understanding why, but let's talk about the family aspects of rejection,
Ooh,
the familial rejection. A lot of people aren't just allowing themselves to be punching bags just because we share the same DNA anymore. You know, a lot of people would rather not get the invite if there's a lot of stipulations on it, so on and so forth. And it's becoming a thing. So, what do y'all think on that? That family aspect, the familiar rejection. Yep.
I think. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go first because I gotta get my thoughts together.
whew. So as someone that has definitely been rejected in the aspect of family for various reasons, um, I would say in the early years, it would hurt my feelings because I
Mm,
really wanted to be accepted and felt like part of the family. But as you grow and realize that this person is just really hell bent on not liking you because you were not born
Mm,
and created inside of them, so they treat you like shit. In return, their kid that teaches their children to treat you like shit, so they don't value you nor your
mm,
children because you're not a product of them. So that seed gets planted. Yeah, I've definitely been there. Now, as I have grown older, I don't give a fuck about the rejection. I like the peace that comes without not being in the midst of bullshit. So I am now okay with that. As a child, your mind frame is okay. Why am I being excluded? Why I don't feel that love and in that space? You can't change how nobody feels about you or whatever else. It's some shitty shit. It's one of the reasons why I don't too much care for step parents, but
mm.
that's what it is. So I think that rejection is at times it can be very hard, especially in the child age. But as you grow up and actually just see that something's actually wrong with the damn person and it ain't you, well, what more can you do? Especially if they reject all of their spouse's children because it's not from their marriage. So it's not a you problem; it's a her problem.
Agreed. Um, Agreed. I wish a lot of those conversations are had before you enter into, you know, a communion or whatever, before you get married. But a lot of times they aren't. So then kids do suffer. And I can talk about me, like now in the space that I'm in now. Um, there's some family members that I choose not to have anything to do with them because of the lifestyle they use. So if you ask them, they would say that I'm rejecting them, which I am. You call it rejection, I would say I'm just protecting what's going on over here. If our lifestyles don't line up and what you're doing could be detrimental to me, then I just don't want to deal with you. Point blank and
I
period. I
agree.
don't have to answer. I don't have to answer my phone. I don't have to. If what you're doing could potentially get me in anything that's not healthy, then yeah, you just gonna have to sit in that rejection, playboy or playgirl.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I got some cousins I don't fool with for them same reasons.
yeah,
I,
I
you feel that?
I know how it feels not to get invited to the little house parties. I know how it feels not to, get invited to the restaurant when the rest of the family's going to be there because, we can't drink and talk a certain way because the pastor's going to be here. When I've never judged anybody based on that. Like, I ain't ever made anybody feel like they can act funny. People have to deal with their own convictions. So yeah, I've felt that sting on that side too. And even now, sometimes um, it may still, sting. You log on to social media and see a whole bunch of pictures of the family just doing it up. I'm like, man, I didn't even know. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, it stings a little bit, but over it. Hmm. You got anything you want
DA.
to add, DA? Yeah.
Well, is that rejection or is that just like because I get when I was thinking of rejection, I mean, well, I guess you can say it is rejection, but yeah, 'cause at the end of the day, like when it comes to stuff like that, they still gonna be your family, regardless, blood or not. If you want to uh like it or not, that's the situation that the cards that you're dealt. And a lot of the times when we are put in these situations, when we are rejected by our people, it's a lonely feeling, and we tend to put up thicker walls or create a narrative in ourself where it's like we're trying to protect ourselves from feeling that hurt again. But I think being rejected from your people initiates growth, but a lot of times when it happens, and I'm talking about myself included, a lot of times when it happens, we grow the wrong way instead of becoming more self-sufficient, self yeah self-sufficient. We get angry and then we start getting that fuck it attitude when it's just not isn't it's causing us more harm than it is them because like we're the ones that still been out of shape about it. And
You're
again,
right.
like I said, this is just my thoughts. Like this is we're the ones that still been out of shape about it, and they going on about their life.
Yep.
And when it's gonna be a time when we just like, okay, that's what it is. I still love you. I can love you from a distance. I still love you. You go do you, but I'm trying to go to that next level of growth and not grow out of anger, but grow out of the betterment for myself. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, we're all still human, and this shit hurts, especially especially when it's blood, when it's supposed to be somebody that you think that's gonna have your back, are supposed to have your back, and they give you their back. Yeah, that shit hurts. But yeah, we have to let that go. And that's a whole nother. That's a I go down a rabbit hole on that because that's like
Baby.
the Bible say Cain killed Abel, right?
Yeah.
And see, and then that's what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned a lot of times if people knew that it was rejection that they were dealing with, then they would know how to process it right. So, and the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of times they say when little boys, right, have mommy issues, it breeds bitterness, right? And when little girls have daddy issues or not being chosen or protected or feeling rejected from her dad, then it breeds promiscuity. Is it true 100% of the time? I know it's not true 100% of the time, but this is the saying, right? So with that being said, that registers in their mind. So that bitterness in little boys, it begins to look like anger, right? In little girls, the promiscuity begins to look like what? You know, some people may say a HOE, that they may say this or that. So if we understood that feeling of rejection from that parent as a child, then we could process it correctly. But a lot of times we don't understand. You just know that the person that was supposed to be there for us was not there.
True that.
Yeah, but we don't realize that we feel rejected. So now we look for it in other ways. So
Definitely. And I like what even what DA has said. Um Even when you come down to that point where you're rejected from siblings, because typically you would expect siblings to be like thick as thieves, big brother protect the sister, vice versa. You look out for each other, those kind of things. You would typically expect there to be some kind of bond. But when in those spaces of rejection, there's, like you said, there's some bitterness, there's some anger there. But when that anger and the bitterness starts to be used as a weapon towards the other person and tries to discredit the other sibling, I think that's a whole different, I think that creates a really bigger issue of the rejection, because now not only are you rejecting the person, you're trying to create a tribe to start rejecting that person too. So you're feeding negative stuff into other people to, like I said, push this person out in a way as well.
mm, yeah, yeah, I agree. And like case in point, in my family, right? It literally, I am the tallest person and the biggest person in my family. Like my uncles, my brother, my mom, my sister, they're all short and just like really, really swole. Like the tallest one is probably 5'7", maybe 5'8" is a stretch. And I'm talking about everybody in my family, uncles, aunties, my siblings. Like I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm the tallest person. So in a lot of spaces, I was always the target because I'm taller, because I'm
Yeah.
bigger, because like I have like long curly hair, and none of them have hair. So it don't matter what I look like to society. In the place where I was supposed to be safe in my home, I was the butt of every joke. I was a target. So I hid, but behind a lot of my gifts and talents, I'm saying, I wouldn't do a lot of things because of that reason, because I didn't look like everybody else that was around me. And that played a major part in like me not showing who I really am.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
Hmm. That's that family rejection.
Yeah, that family rejection. It's a different kind of thing, because families don't mean what I don't feel families mean what it used to mean. Now it's a totally different thing. It's a jealousy is such a big part of it. Along you season that up with a little bit of hate,
But
and
mm,
it turned into a recipe for other things.
I think, and this is just my little historical knowledge. I don't think it's done intentionally. Because what I've read and researched when it comes to, and I hate to keep going back to this, it has been ingrained in us back from when we got off the boats. Because if our family were together, and say DJ was good at singing and all this other stuff, his parents were afraid that Master would sell him, so they'll basically belittle him so the value of him wouldn't be that high. And I think that just transcended through generations and went from being that to being considered like um a love language, which is toxic as fuck. Um, they only pick at you or talk about you because they love you, which again that's toxic as fuck. But that's a taught
Learned behavior.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, like uh like the word we always say, like I always say that, and I had to catch myself. Oh, you and your little old job. Yeah, the word little, like you're minimizing what
Yeah.
you got.
The
And
little, yeah. Yeah, I see you with the little girl over there.
yeah, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like it's the same thing with when it comes to our family talking about us and belittling us, and they only do it because they love us. And it's funny, I forgot I told somebody that because they were like, man, hey, your family say one more thing about me, I'm gonna swing on them. And I'm sitting there like, first of all, you're gonna get killed. So don't do that. Then I had to think about it, and I was like, why do they do that? And then I started thinking about the people that came around. The ones they didn't like, they didn't say shit too. I'm like, huh. And so I started like just piecing stuff together, like, oh, cause like when we like, and it's again, like I said, it's toxic. But when we get around each other, that's all we do. Oh, yo, black ass, blah 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 blah. Oh,
Yeah.
nappy head, yeah 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 yeah. Yeah. Oh, 4 eye, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why you stutter. You stutter, you know what I'm saying? And then we look at, but it's all in love. It's all in love, and like again, I said it's toxic, but that's 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 why I see that different. Now, if it's like something where it's like a blatant, like you can look at them, and I hate to say this, like you can look at them like, okay, that's your child, and they be like, no, that ain't, and you just like, really? Or you like mom and daddy,
Yeah.
and they look at you and be like, go the other way, or leave you hanging. You just like, what the fuck? Now that right there, that cut deep.
So let's talk about that. So I'm glad you went there because that was actually
I
the
was
next
going to
point I
go
was
there
going to bring
myself.
up.
Yep.
That's what will be referred to as the momentary rejection or being ignored,
Would it?
or not being invited. That's what they call momentary rejection. And that's exactly what you just touched on. Calling your mom and dad, and they look at you, and they intentionally just go the other way. Stuff like that. Like in a marriage, to someone in just intentionally not answering you.
Yeah.
What you think about that one, T? Or yeah.
So reading up on that. Um, when you read it, I'm sure at some point somebody probably looked guilty at it. Um, because like I said, when I read it, I was like, oh, like the nonverbal rejection. Like for me, one thing I've gotten from, I would say, both of my parents is the facial expressions. I don't have to say anything. My face gonna say 1,000 words, and it's just automatic that it happens. But just those things or ways that we reject people, either body language, facial expressions, things that you don't have to use words, like avoiding eye contact, crossing arms, walking away when somebody's approaching. Some people probably don't even realize that they do it.
Yeah, I was about to
It
say
just
that.
actually click, and you like, oh, like again, when I read this, and I was like, eh. Yeah.
And that goes back to that learned behavior, like we said earlier, that learned behavior. It's like it's ingrained in you. So naturally you're gonna do like some people talk like this.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, some cultures, they don't look you in the eye. Or if you've been in a situation where you've been, I'm just keep it 100. You've been abused. You might not have that intestinal fortitude, not the intestinal fortitude, the courage to look somebody in the eye because you don't know how that's gonna trigger them, stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, I think it's a lot of factors that play into that
Yeah.
when we talk about that.
And
And I agree
even
with that one too.
and even talking about that, a lot of people that have autism don't like
Mhm.
looking people in the face. So it's not
Mhm.
always a disrespect. Sometimes it's a disability, a part of
Yep.
that person's disability, because they don't like looking people. And if anybody ever noticed me, unless we like 9 out of 10, I'm either struggling to make eye contact with you or I'm looking off. Because I don't like people. I've always had a thing. I don't like people staring at me or like looking at me for long periods of time. And I'm like, I start looking off. It makes me uncomfortable.
I poke
Interesting.
myself in the eye. Shit.
Always something, dude. Yeah.
So in
So
the aspect of momentary rejection, right? So as I'm listening to y'all speak on this subject, and they say a lot of times, um, you teach people how to treat you. So if they come at you sideways on a kind of slighted way, you intentionally don't respond. You know, or your body language, you intentionally give them a cold shoulder, and then they'll correct how they're coming at you. What do y'all think about that?
I was about to ask y'all how serious is it?
Well, I'm just,
Cause
you
like,
know,
cause it's like, and I'm just asking because it's like the name of it, momentary rejection.
in the moment, yeah.
That's why I'm just like,
I think it depends on the person. Because one of those forms is silence. You don't talk to
mm,
that person, you're basically ignoring the person, not
mm-hmm.
giving them none of your attention. That is actually a form of abuse. So for some people, that may be major for them. For others, they be like, shh, you ain't talking here. That's smoke
Yeah,
piece
might
around
be a
here. I
trigger.
gotta hit your mouth.
Might
Okay,
be a
but see,
trigger.
in that space, though, but in that space, that's talking about more in the aspect of what people call romantic rejection, because now you're in an intimate space. You're in the space of now in that romantic capacity, you're being rejected. This is from someone that you expect intimacy and romance from.
Yeah.
So
Does it
that's
have
so
to
that
be Does it have to
yes.
be romantic, or could it could be like
Well, if it's not in the if it's not, if y'all are not in a romantic space, then it's not romantic rejection. Then it would
uh,
be the other ones. So it's based on the bond that you have with that person, like a
it
person
just be you
withholding.
don't you don't like that motherfucker?
Right. Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So in the romantic rejection aspect, right, withholding love, intimacy, or you know, you know how intimacy can go. Any aspect of intimacy. I'm trying to watch my word, my verbiage, but
Mm.
yeah,
Nah, intimacy could be pillow talk. It could be getting
it
it
could.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So that being withheld. So now in that space, right? Have you ever withheld it, and has it been withheld from you? How did you feel? Go ahead, TK. We'll start with you.
you probably will help
No,
withheld it. You
Right.
can't
I've
touch this
never. I
pussy.
can say that it's never been withheld from me. I can say
I
that.
bet.
I will even say I haven't withheld, but if I'm not in that mood, really ain't. If we just had an argument and you finna try it 9 or 10, we neither one of us gonna enjoy it.
So let's touch on this question real quick before we pick that back
Yes,
up.
Simone own it.
Why do some guys get violent when women reject them? And I'm assuming that she's speaking the aspect of I'm trying to ask for her phone number and she says that she got a man and she's not interested, and he get mad and get violent. So me personally, Simone, I don't necessarily view that as rejection. Um, and the reason why is because there's no relation there. And I just basically feel like I'm just not her flavor. And that's fine because every woman that crosses my path, she's not going to be mine. So I don't feel rejected in that space. I don't personally feel rejected if I ask for her number and she says no. Other guys that may get violent, maybe it's a pride thing. I don't know. TK, you want to touch on that? Have you ever been in that space where somebody may have got mad or violent if you didn't?
So, Simone, I'm very glad you asked that question because this is basically really why I came up and decided to do this topic. There was a video that I saw where a female was in her own space walking down the street. Group of guys, she passes them by. One of the guys tried to talk to her, and she's like polite, no, thank you, I have a boyfriend. He gets pissed off. The boys is, oh man, you man, just all that, man. So he gets to the point to where he decides he wants to push her down, call her all kind of B's and H's and so on and things like that. Sadly, this is becoming more than normal for men to behave in this manner towards women when they ask for your phone number. Wait, when they ask for your phone number, you don't give it to them. Like you said, they trying to talk, trying to whatever it is, or they follow somebody up the stairs to their apartment to assault them. I know a few different women that if they go say they need gas, they pull up at the gas station and they see a group of dudes, they're gonna drive on to the next gas station. They're not gonna stop. They're gonna look for something that don't have the crowd or the attention. They rather risk running out of gas than pulling up and being in that position. Even in the club, back in the day, you could give somebody a fake name and phone number. Now they're automatically putting the number in right then and they call it. So a lot of females are pressured to give their actual number. So yeah, they do that call. He answers, but they blocking it right after. So it's that weird, I don't want to say peer pressure, but to me, it's like a part of peer pressure for females. At the same time, it's like safety. It's almost like that with the black men trying to get home safe and not getting pulled over from the police in the form of similar like that. Like, okay, well, I guess I better give him the number so I can make it home to my kids. I think with men, it is a form of, that ego. Ego is a bad mamma jamma. And if you got your boys with you egging you on, oh, she dished you all, you thought you could get her. Yeah, them bruised egos, that's a hell of a weapon. And a lot of people can't accept that form of rejection. Nobody typically likes to be rejected, no matter in how many different categories there are of rejection. And I ain't gonna say too many people like that feeling. Yeah, what was you gonna say?
First thing I was gonna say, I'm trying to understand how you're speaking on behalf of a man, but you're speaking from your point of view. But you hit on some part of the issue, like I like to go deep in explaining stuff. So a lot of the times when you got the dude overreacting like that, is because one, they were not allowed to express themselves. so they can go from 0 to 100 quick because there's no way to regulate their emotions. Two, the rejection part. Somewhere along the line, they have always been told no, 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 and to a point where it builds up, and some will take it and won't approach you because they're afraid of you saying no, and some will take the other extreme or have that fucking attitude because I'm gonna still approach, but the moment you say no, they trigger. So that's part of it. And then the last thing, that ego, the whole ego thing, is that's all it is. Like, especially when, and I hate to say it, we are our worst enemies when it comes to that. When you get around your supposed friends and you get played, and then you trying to make up for it and try to flex. And I'm like, nah, that's doing the opposite. That has the opposite effect because if you do that with that person, 9 times 10, somebody saw it, and if you try to talk to somebody else, they're like, oh nah, that's old boy who did XYZ, and so now you got a name for yourself, or your friends sit there like, oh nah, you gonna egg you on to take it to the extreme after that because all you trying to do is maintain your pecking order in the crew.
Okay, that's a great question, Simone. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, on the aspect of romantic rejection, right? T, you already talked, patted yourself on the back or whatever you want to call it. For me, um, never. So, I'm sure I have made some people feel rejected, but it's not intentionally. Literally, if if there's an emotional disconnect in a relationship, right, then it's not going to work. The performance is just not going to work. So if there's an issue that we need to discuss and we keep sweeping it under the rug and she comes rubbing up on me, we can try, but you're probably going to feel worse. It's
Yeah,
better that we might hash this out first, and that has been a thing that so, and it's not that I'm intentionally rejecting her, but I guess I'm more emotional than sexual or whatever because I can't get off into it. So,
like real talk
and
though.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
no, it's all good. Go ahead. I
Real
take it
talk
back.
though, like, believe it or not, women talk their way out of dick, just like men talk their way out of pussy. Like for real, for real. I mean, they don't get it twisted because like it's the mindset of, oh, if the wind blow, his dick gonna get hard. No, if the situation is not right, if we're not vibing, I just can't. You just can't get your soldier to stand at attention like that,
Agreed.
regardless of how young you are, how turned on you. Nah, because you're gonna be like looking at that person like, nah, we ain't vibing right now. So what you trying to, nah, you ain't finna get none of this. And it happens. Like, we won't say, men, we won't say it,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it happens. It's a lot of the times, I think a lot of the times when they say a man has erectile dysfunction, it's not because of his age. It's not. I don't think it's not because of his age. It's because of the situation that he's in. It's
I've
because
heard that before too. Because if
it's,
the
it's
right woman
yeah,
comes
he's
along,
not
it
happy in the
works.
situation.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And
Yeah,
this is another major one as well. So when we're dealing with the romantic rejection aspect, right? So say for instance, um, you're with a person, right? And I know we talk about love languages a lot, right? But this person's love language is physical touch. This person loves to hold hands when they're driving, and you intentionally don't hold his or her hand for whatever reason. So that's that intentional romantic rejection. If this person's love language is acts of service, and you usually mop the floor but you don't mop today because you're mad, that person is going to feel rejected. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, see that right there? Like, I am physical touch is my love language. A hug, a kiss, whatever. And I just walk up to you, vice versa. That's my thing. So if you're in a space where you mad at me and you're denying me those things, I'm gonna be looking like, okay. And 9 out of 10, I may initiate. If we sit next to each other, I may reach and, just grab your hand, hold your hand like I typically do. And if you snatch your hand away from me, I'm be looking like, "Oh, okay,
Mm,
yeah, that right there is not gonna sit right in my spirit."
mm,
So for me, and then if you're in that space where you turn around and you trying to hunch on me later, nah, bro,
I know what
you
you
didn't do the candle out for the night, dog. It ain't gonna happen. Just as guys say, okay, well, it ain't always erectile dysfunction. It ain't always menopausal women either.
yeah, yeah.
We're gonna dry up like the desert, but let the
And that's
right
the
people
thing,
come
'cause
around and
that's
watch
a
the river.
conversation that we don't have a lot as men and women. We think it's like you said, menopausal, or oh, he got sugar, so his thing don't work. Nah, bitch, we just don't like you. Like, let's call the Lord. Let's say what it is.
Okay, so I got a question while we're in this space of talking about this. So have y'all
yeah.
ever been in a space where y'all are in this relationship and just that person touch you make you want to throw up, make you like sick in your stomach?
Yeah, I've been there, and guess what I
I,
did? I left.
Yeah, because baby, I don't see no rebound. Once you got to that point,
Yeah,
baby, it's boys to men. It's the end of the road. Because that flip, you ain't gonna be able to turn that light back on. You can't flip the switch. Like that is the bottom. That's basement to me.
because what's
yeah.
gonna end up happening is you're gonna end up saying or doing something that's gonna hurt them,
Hmm.
and it's
Agreed.
gonna be worse.
Yeah, I've been there as well. Yeah, yeah. I just say that I've been there. Um, and for me, another major one, right? You know, speaking on romantic rejection is like words of affirmations, but not receiving them. I like
Mm,
giving them. So if we're in a space to where I'm pouring the words and then like I stop, oh, it's something wrong. Like because like yeah, it's something going on in a major way.
Yeah,
So yeah.
it's like cutting your wrists off. Well,
Yeah. You didn't. Yeah, we're in a bad space.
yeah. Real bad. Dog.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
whoo,
But
game over.
and
Oh,
see,
well.
that's the thing though. That's the intimate aspect of it. Like because you can have intimate moments even when you're not agreeing. You know,
right.
it still don't have to be a rejection because we're upset at each other. You know, I can still open my heart and allow you to see what happened to make me feel the way I feel, and vice versa. But a lot of people miss the opportunities to share in those intimate moments because of pride. I mean, self, just whatever the case is. But they miss a lot of those opportunities because of that.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
No, I could
Yeah.
definitely see that. So, yeah. Whew,
So I
yeah.
think this is a good one right here. Um, I don't know how much you want to share, DA, but now we're talking about the professional rejection, like jobs and not getting that promotion you deserve. Um,
Oh shit, I can
being
tell you,
fired,
man.
being fired for somebody
That's
else's.
it.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
That's it. You know, like the reality of it is we're people,
Right.
and a lot of times we tend to identify ourselves by what we do,
Mm,
True.
and and I say that to break down like my military career. A lot of my military career, I like honestly, I ran circles around a lot of my peers when it came to getting stuff done. It was to the point where people that I was competing with would come to me to get advice and stuff on projects that they in turn put their name on. So when I first got passed over for promotion and somebody else I knew couldn't hold my jock strap on a good day in a plastic bag.
Talk your shit then, damn it.
You know what I'm saying? I knew they couldn't fade me. Like, and they got promoted over me. I was crushed because I'm like, this motherfucker, like, it was. Let me tell you how bad it was. None of his section talked to him. He's leading a section of like 30 people. Nobody talked to him. They did their own thing. Like when he said, "Hey, I need y'all to do this," they'll look at him. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah, and he's in charge. And I'm talking about these are like soldiers where he can really physically, like not physically, but can do stuff to them, and they'll look at him like, "Bro, go sit down somewhere." And he got selected for the next rank, and I was just like, "Okay, then I realized it's not about what you know or how, and all that stuff. It's about paper." But that shit crushed me because I was just like, I'm doing all this stuff for Uncle Sam. I'm doing all this stuff for Uncle Sam, man. This motherfucker hiding behind a desk and he gets promoted. So, but then I had to tell myself, I said, it's a reason why I didn't get promoted. It's a reason why my career, I topped out where I topped out. And I think, and honestly, I believe the reason why that happened is because I had more impact that way than if I'd have got promoted. My impact was a whole lot greater. And I didn't realize it until it was time for me to leave. And the folks that was like sending me emails, sending me text messages, sending me stuff on Facebook like, I heard you leaving. I just want to thank you. I never got to thank you for the impact you had. Like one of my soldiers, I ain't seen her in about 10 years. She sent me a message saying thank you for everything you done for me. You just don't understand how you saved my life and my career and blah 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 blah. I was just like, yo. And that's when I realized that. But that initial rejection, bitch. I want to be out, turn into a little R&B song, be out there in the rain crying, singing, why?
with the boombox.
Why?
you was ready to Ray J it.
Man, yeah.
What's his name? Omarion.
Yeah.
Got an icebox.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What about you, TK? You got anything you want to?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like when we had the episode on finding a job is a job, we had that because we had not only ourselves was having an issue with finding another job, but a lot of people that we know was as well. Like the job market is a whole different market right now. And a lot of qualified people for these jobs have been getting rejected. So there's a different level of rejection when you see a job, you know, you could do that job with your eyes closed, walking on the beach, and you get that rejection letter, and you like,
yeah,
what? Like you sitting there like in shell shock, and it kind of hits you a little bit. It ain't intentional, but it kind of hits you in your chest a little bit. Like, what in the hell? You know, what is going on? Why didn't I get this job? And then when you start to keep applying at jobs that you know you're more than qualified for, then you get you're overqualified for this position. But if I was underqualified, I wouldn't have got it either. It's kind of like you just got like the lottery. You got to they just got to pick your number, pick your application at that time for you to be lucky to get it.
Yep.
I've had that same situation like with DA. I've been in a situation where um, the people that I supervise are very drawn to me versus my supervisor. They would prefer not to deal at all with the supervisor over me and deal directly with me. I'm their preference. I'm one that I don't micromanage because I don't like being micromanaged.
Right.
And I tell them this from the gate: long as you do your job, you ain't on your phone, you ain't just sitting on the clock. Long as you do what you're supposed to do, and everybody's straight, and you're not getting no complaints, you're not gonna hear from me. I tell you good morning during the day, do a check in. Hey, you all right? You good? Those kind of things. I'm one of those people which you rarely care. You rarely hear about is supervisors that actually care, because a lot of times people are in situations where, like today, one of my employees is diabetic. I know that. The supervisor of me don't know that. So as soon as I saw her with the shakes, I said, "Hey, go get you some lunch." She said, "I'm a parrot." Go on, I got it. Go on and go get your lunch. Go get whatever you're gonna go get. Go on and get your stuff. And she said, "Miss T, thank you, appreciate it. I just needed my sugar was a little low this morning when I came in and this and that." Cool business. I'm not a nosy supervisor, but I like to be aware of those health issues that you have. Because if you fall out of here on this floor, I need to know what's going on.
Yep.
Calling, well, does she have this? Hell, I ain't got no answers. And sometimes just the little things. Hell, when she
That
first
go.
started,
Yep.
that happened. And I was like, she was like, "Can I just get a handful of your chips?" I was like, "Yeah, shoot. You ain't finna eat this whole bag. You knock yourself out." She's like, "My sugar low." I'm like, "Thank you for telling me that. I greatly appreciate you for telling me that. Now I know what to look out for with you. When I see you ain't right, I know what to look out for." So, and I've been in that space where I've been on the butt end of a situation, not being fired, but being suspended because my supervisor got in her feelings about somebody quitting. Now, yes, none of them two connect, but because she was in her feelings, she suspended me.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
granted, when I did go back to work, it was a whole apology for the actions. But why are we in a space where we acting out of our emotions on a job and it affects somebody else that had nothing to do with the situation? I didn't have nothing to do with the girl quitting. The actual situation of why the girl quit was actually because of my supervisor, not because of me. But I got the butt end of it. So I get the rejection parts on that as well, because I even had got demoted at one point in time, a ghost demotion, because the person was acting out in their feelings.
Gotcha.
But then she had to put me right back in place because the person messed up so bad. She couldn't do my job.
Oh,
So that
that's
that
that be the funny
rejection
part.
is it. Yes, like the crazy part was, I think she hired her in February. By May, end of May, she was back out the door, and it got to the point to where financially they had to pay back almost $3,000 because of the errors
Ooh.
that the person had made.
Wow.
But you was trying to be sneaky and demote me and have me going back into another position that was below me to bring somebody else that you thought it was qualified, and
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't be me and do what I do, and it hit you in your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
pretty
get
much.
it with the whole job thing, when people are especially acting
Yeah.
out of their emotions. And a
The
lot of times
professional
that's what that
rejection.
is. Yeah, and a lot of times that's what that is. The professional rejection of being um demoted or rejected when that person life is not going the way that they feel like it do, and they project that onto you, and then you then became a target.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, this next one, this is the last one, and I intentionally saved this one for last.
Yeah, I know you
It's
did.
about to be some bullshit then.
Okay. Y'all know me so well. But this self-rejection.
Is what?
Self-rejection. Self.
Oh,
Self-rejection.
SELF. Self. Self-rejection. And a lot of aspects of self-rejection, right? It's having low self-esteem or like having a negative self-perception, how you view yourself, not liking what you see in the mirror, that type of stuff. Yeah, self-rejection.
we
Any
are
thoughts on
our hardest
self-rejection?
critic.
Mm-hmm.
Hardest critic and worst enemy.
Yep, that's it in a nutshell. We, we
Hardest
tend
critic and worst.
to
I mean, I agree.
we tend to we tend to put more on us on ourselves than we'll do anybody else. We'll give somebody else a pass, but we'll beat the fuck out of ourselves.
Mm, that is very true. Yep, I know there was a point in my life um, when I dealt with that self-rejection in a major way, especially in relationships, right? A lot of times I would sabotage relationships, you know, after failing horribly in the marriage and, it just failing horribly. I was like, F it, man. So anytime a relationship looked like it may work, I would intentionally sabotage it um,
Man, yep,
to protect myself from having another failed one. I didn't
yep.
think that I was worthy enough to have a healthy relationship. I mean,
That's it right there.
and even friendships, like um, I've sabotaged friendships, and I even tried to sabotage, the friendship with TK, um, fear of her walking away. So when we
That's
may
your
not
rejection.
have of saw eye to eye on something, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I don't even want the friendship. I ain't even gonna answer her calls or respond to her messages, and that was that self rejection. Me rejecting myself from a healthy friendship because of my fears. That
That's
was that
real.
was a major one. I didn't always. The way I see myself now when I look in the mirror, there was times. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I want to add anything before I go on the
Nah, keep
tangent.
going. You're doing good. Keep going.
No, you not shoot. You checking them all out. You got this by yourself, though.
Keep
But there
going.
was literally times to where, like, if I looked in the mirror too long at myself, I would come to tears. So
Mm,
in the mirror, it was quick. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't focus on my eyes, on my facial features. Can y'all imagine that? As handsome as I am,
I, hey,
yeah, just
that's
gonna get
easy.
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, that self rejection. I didn't allow myself to enjoy life, man. I was in such a bad headspace, you know. Um, man, just friendships and relationships, and just even talking to people. I would only let people in a certain closeness, and then I
Mm-hmm.
would sabotage. I would do something to push them away. Yeah.
Yep.
So, how about in that space where the family rejection affects the self rejection, where you hearing
So because
from
of the
family
family
members
rejection, you
that
begin to
you're
have
not
low.
worthy, yeah, you're not worthy, you're not deserving, nobody's gonna love you, nobody's gonna this, and you starting to believe that hype and feel like you're not worthy of anything that's good.
I can see the connection, and because again, it goes back to now the people that you're supposed to feel safe around, you didn't feel safe. So now anything that resembles that, you're gonna sabotage it. You're gonna push it away. You're gonna, you know,
Yep.
yeah.
Blow the light out real quick.
Yeah, nah, this looks familiar. I don't want to be in this space again. The last person just
Yep.
said that they wouldn't
Yep.
hurt me.
We always do that
Took
stuff.
that
Heart.
So.
children run real quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that one is
and
ongoing battle.
that's what I was just going to say. That's the hardest one. Go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, that is a definite ongoing battle. And I'll say this, being in the space, especially that me and D in on this healing journey that we are currently working on ourselves, this is one of the things that I know that we deal with on a regular basis, is changing the narrative to how we grew up and what we were told by others to actually believe and know that that is wrong. We are deserving of love, good things, more than worthy of a great life, even despite the traumas and the trials that we've been through. It's just that added seasoning to life that we can grow and say, hey, we've made it past this. We're here now. And to be able to look back on that and see how far we've come. It's one of those like it's really crazy when you are in this space and you start to see the little things. You're like, damn. Or that reality kick in that you realize that you were self-sabotaging yourself in spaces, that job, that relationship, that friendship, the relationship with your kids, however that is. And you're like, damn, I didn't realize I was doing this, or did this, till I read and seen that this. So a lot of this, even this topic too, is also some of the self-reflection that we've had with going through these stages with our therapist to really realize where the root and where a lot of things come from and being able to grow and move past it. So it's we just be like, damn, sometimes like shit, damn. Or realize, oh, okay, yeah, we there, and are we looking at, oh, now we gotta go through this right here. Yeah, we it's been an interesting journey. It ain't easy, but just seeing how far we've come from last year to this year, it's like, damn. It's like standing on the beach looking at the sunset.
Yeah, and that's the part right there, the realization. Because when you're in it, like I didn't realize that I was intentionally sabotaging healthy relationships. When I was in it, I didn't realize it. I thought I was just protecting myself. That's the excuse that I was just protecting myself, but I was sabotaging. And that's the awesome thing about healing. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, I used to say that it's a what is it? I used to say, self-realization is real once you realize it.
Self-realization is real once you. I'm about to write that one down right there, dear.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time because, like, it's easier for us to believe something somebody else tell us versus ourselves. Yeah. Somebody could say, "Hey, you are ugly as shit," but you know deep down inside, you like, bro, you can't be that ugly. You pulling them, but because that one person said that, you start listening to that, and then you instead of reinforcing what's inside of you, you started looking at what's outside. Oh yeah, I remember that one time. Oh girl, they want to talk to me and and you start adding on to it, and next thing you know, you done built it. You done bought into what that person has said versus believing in yourself. And we said it earlier too. That goes back to family trauma.
Yep, I agree. TK, you got anything else you want to add?
I think I'm good. So. Shoot, you pretty much tackled that one by yourself.
You had a breakthrough.
Sorry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that one for last on purpose because I know that was going to be personal for me in a major way. Yeah.
No, it was personal. It was personal for all of it. Well, I know it was personal for me.
Yeah, that's why I said you was checking all the boxes. I was like, shoot, look, I'm like this. Shoot, you got it. All right. Yep. Dude, you had it. You spoke
Okay,
everything. I was
exactly.
like, okay, well, you was my spokesperson. Because you
Gotcha.
knocked them all
But
out.
yeah,
It's like,
so um, I got you. Well, as far as closing statements, we've dealt with the different aspects of rejection. Be mindful also about how you make other people feel. Be a person of good
Mhm.
integrity. Be a person of good integrity, and that's all I got to say on that one. Just be mindful.
Shit, I ain't got
GA?
nothing to say. Shit.
Oh, well, that is. That is. Um, so why it is on my mind, Lord, before I forget, um, mm, I want to say happy birthday to my firstborn. On Sunday, she will be 27
Hey,
years old. So
Mm.
happy birthday, Nay. Mommy
Yeah, you
loves
like,
you.
oh,
Boy, almost. Boy,
yes, and
love
I'm gonna
you
tell you,
very
T.
much. And I hope you enjoy spending my money this weekend.
And you did an awesome job raising her, TK. She's an awesome young lady. I love her to death. I love her wisdom, even at her age. I love her heart, just to receive and just give. She's awesome. So you did great with her.
Thank you
Happy
for that.
birthday, Nisi. Yeah.
Thank you. And I ain't old, sir.
You got a 27-year-old. You ain't no youngster.
You got a
and church
28-year
say
old.
amen.
You ain't no youngster, do you?
No, she's 20. No, she's 27. She'll be 28 in March. So, anyways.
Okay. Coming close. You coming close.
Mhm.
But I thank y'all for definitely tuning in, and I hope, as with any episode that we do, I hope that it helps somebody. Um,
Amen.
the response that we got from last week with the PCOS was crazy. Even from the seasonal affective disorder episode, like we've been getting hit up like crazy. The comments that we received, um, it actually made me speechless. So I love that. Like I said, even if it's just one person, that it helps or opens the door for a conversation amongst others. We are grateful and thankful because typically we don't fit into the typical podcast because we do tackle those things that are taboo in the community that a lot of people aren't having the conversations about. And we are very transparent about the stuff that we deal with, and that sometimes comes to where some of the topics come up from as well, and we're transparent about those places and spaces that we're in. So again, I thank you. Definitely have had some riders with me for a long time, and I greatly appreciate y'all. Definitely, we love and we thank y'all for riding for us and supporting us in the way that y'all do, and definitely sharing the podcast to say, hey, this might help you, or hey, this might help somebody else. So definitely, please still do that. We ask that y'all be safe out here in these streets. I'm excited because I'm praying that fall hits like it's supposed to on Sunday and the weather be cooler because this heat is doing the most. I'm tired of it. So again, be safe. Hope I'll mention the day that you said happy birthday. And I know she will greatly appreciate it. She got me finna be running around eating up crap, so I'll be on the Big Back Project this weekend.
Don't talk about my baby like that.
Hey, you, the man say
Don't
she
do
got us cutting up tomorrow. How you create a whole day to eat?
it.
Shit, that's all
That's
right.
my
My
girl.
day.
I love
My
it.
type of
I
day.
love it.
Yeah,
So,
so I was like, really? She's like, yep. Okay, well,
She
shoot.
learned
So
from the best.
yeah, you ain't lying. We cut up a little bit. We didn't. I think we didn't corrupt this auntie now.
Right.
Yeah, he get up early
All
in the
right.
morning. Look, he get up early in the morning to come join us at a breakfast spot. Yeah, we done messed up.
mm.
Yeah.
That dude gonna get up early.
No, he don't. He bypassed real quick. That's right. We gotta take that. I got it. We're gonna have to take you to the spot.
I'll be there.
Because it's the pancake hamburger this month.
Oh shit. All right, y'all. We gotta go so we can talk about this food. I ain't gonna talk about it on live. But thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see y'all next Friday.
Definitely that. Cause yeah.
Go ahead and play my music so I can get my dance on. You know I like to judge with it.
Bye. Be safe, y'all.
Yeah, what's up with it? Do it cause I love it and I stuck with it. We ain't with the